I discuss with you. I have 4 bachelor degrees, 3 master degrees, plus 20 years working experience. Do you too? أنا الريب via neighbors مسلم إسماعيل شافعي سعيد نحر رشيد مسجد المدينة في آخره. They are forcing haram upon me, and they talk about locking people in horrendous places and committing violence and violations against them, and forcing mental illness medications and treatments on them. This is due to the same stuff that is said inside this house. It is said via the entire nation, entire neighborhood, and there is no in this neighborhood since 2021. I place the chair behind my door. Nobody is anal raping me. Every Friday sermon is about you sell your genitalia to us or give it freely. We will cause you a disease. We will cause you a disease. You refuse it, including to become sex slave for money. They said the Friday sermon of this neighborhood. We are going to cause you a disease, so you are going to be. They are going to do. I am a Muslim human being, not for money, not for anything. I wouldn't do haram. They said they are going to cause me a disease, and then I am going to do haram with everybody and become a sex slave for Muslim إسماعيل شافعي استعاد نحر رشيد مسجد المدينة في آخره. They said they are going to cause me black magic and diseases, and then I am going to become the sex slave of everybody, and I am going to go in something labeled as yalla yalla in a mari yalla let us go. And they placed cars in front of everywhere in the entire neighborhood labeled as Muslim إسماعيل شافعي مسجد المدينة في آخره. Yalla let us go. I am discussing with you everything about planet Earth. This book is فقه الإنسان. She's talking about a human being, the greatness, and a sheikh that is saying that at age 80 he became more than anybody in regards to his mental faculties, and a girl who was a slave, and she became the greatest mathematician of the Muslims, and she became the greatest mathematician of the Muslims. وتصبح لبنى هرنمز لبنى إحدى إيماء التي سبيت في زمن الفتوحات الإسلامية عالمة الرياضيات وعالمة اللغة. And then Lebanon becomes a great. She was like the Yazidi girl. She was captured and she became the greatest mathematician and linguist في جامعة قرطبة in قرطبة University in Europe اللي هو Spain and Andalusia. And a sheikh who says Ibn al-Jawzi, he became the greatest scholar of Islam, and he said, and Ibn Aqil, he said he is at an old age the greatest scholar upon planet Earth, and he has greater mental faculties than the 20-year-olds. This is me including. At age 50, I memorized everything: news, politics, philosophy. Including my university, I got A+, and they are committing crimes against humanity, against me. This book, Why Females Are Poorer, she says, Annabelle Williams, she says, money cannot, I love money so much, and it is a priority for me. I don't want to live with my family because they trafficked me and they are forcing haram upon me. She says, Annabella Williams, money gives you, it doesn't buy you happiness. It gives you freedom and options. You have then ability to go to where you want and live with who you want. I don't want to live with my family ولا my relatives and in Somaliland or with Muslima Ismail, neighbors to Muslima Ismail Shafi'i Su'ad Nuh Rashid, Masjid al-Madina في آخره. This book, she says, Annabella Williams, money, it buys you, it gives you options. Annabella Williams, money gives you, it gives you freedom and options. Money gives you freedom. Money gives you freedom. It will never buy you happiness. This is the book of Annabella Williams. In the book of Naum Chomsky, he's talking about المasters of the universe. المasters of the universe. المasters of the universe. And America, it is an irrelevant country. And it is everything is done via the masters of the university, the G7, the IMF, and the World Bank. Naum Chomsky, who rules the world, and he talks about priests that were murdered via missions and operations and espionage via the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church. Who went to the Catholic Church? Joseph Aoun, the president of Lebanon. He went to Pope Francis, and they were discussing what is crimes and the wars that is escalated via the Israelis. Here he says the G7 countries are the masters of the universe. El G7 and America became a irrelevant country, and it with the inevitable decline, Washington power to some extent shared within the de facto government, the masters of the universe, the G7 countries, and the International Monetary اللي هو ال IMF and the World Trade اللي هو ال World Bank that they created. And he says in this book that because the people due to nothing occurred, they developed apathy, and one consequences due to he is saying at the lower end of the income wealth scale are effectively people are excluded from the political system, their opinions and attitudes ignored by their formal representatives, while a tiny sector at the top has overwhelmingly influence. Over a long period of time, campaign funding is remarkably a good predictor of policy choices. Due to this, people, citizens of entire planet Earth, they developed apathy. They don't give a damn about anything because the entire place is everything is via the 1% and the elites. And in page 11, he talks about the Jesuit priests that were murdered in Latin America. Here is page 11. Page 11, he says, for example, a week after the fall of Berlin, 6 leading Latin American intellectuals, all Jesuit priests, leading Latin American intellectuals, all Jesuit priests, had their heads blown off on the direct orders of Salvadorian High Command. This is اللي هو Bicali of Salvador. In Salvador, the CIA and the other nations and the Catholic Church, they were murdering those whom they said they are making el people communist and revolution. They become revolutionary and rebels. This was done via CIA and some Latin American governments. And he says in this book, he talks about Imad Mughniya and a Financial Times articles and lots of research papers. They said they were not the people who made bombings of the American places in Lebanon and elsewhere. He talks about the Financial Times. The Financial Times said that Imad Mughniya is not a terrorist, and America assassinated him for crimes he did not do. Here he says, the Financial Times reported that most of the charges against Mughniya are unsubstantiated. He did not commit any of the crimes, yet the Americans, they murdered him and they assassinated him. Everything I memorized, and there is all those books, and including every book I memorized it. Every book I memorized it, including this book. He says about مفتاح دار السعادة. He says the most important thing is, he said to الشيطان, do you fear العالم ولا الفقيه? And he said he fears الفقيه, العابد, somebody who is a scholar or a worshipper. Who do you, عالم ولا عابد? Do you fear عالم ولا عابد? الشيطان. And he said الشيطان, he fears including I memorized it in page numbers instantly. اهو 126 he says لكل شيء دعامة، ودعامة الفقه في الدين الإسلام، ودعامة الإسلام الفقه في الدين، والفقيه أشد على الشيطان من 1000 عابد. من 1000 عابد. and he says الفقيه أشد على الشيطان من 1000 ورع و1000 مجتهد و1000 متعبد. Everything I memorized it in this other books labeled as the brothers, talking about the Kennedys. They said Robert Kennedy, he was not what he said he is, and he was committing horrors, and his security services, and he was a phony person. They said he is a phony person. It is page 108, 101, 101, 101, not 108. And they said he is Kennedy. Helms said he is a phony person. Here is Kennedy was, can you see? He says Kennedy was a phony. He says Kennedy. Helms also thought Helms those are security services of the Kennedys. They said they are not who they are. Here he says, he said he felt he was obsessed with Cuba. He was just obsessed. It was very hard for the people in the government, to handle Helms. Also thought they are talking about Robert Kennedy. Helms also thought Kennedy was a phony. He said Kennedy was a phony, and he committed all sorts of crimes, and he was pretending to be a great human being. يعني they made me with no income, and they, by this يعني at this age and during this duration, and in the currently I would have had, including a PhD in whatever endeavor and whatever subject and whatever university I was studying at. They ruined everything for me, everything I memorize, everything upon planet Earth. Help me find job and university abroad. Imagine causing people diseases and saying so you become the slave of everybody. I don't have any sort of illnesses. And there is another book labeled as Origins of Totalitarianism for Hannah Arendt, this Jewish American philosopher, German American Jewish philosopher, and she talks people are amid two groups of people: those who have become very helpless. This is in a book learned as Learned Optimism via what is his name? Martin Seligman. He created something in psychology, something in psychology labeled as positive psychology. He talks about something labeled as learned helpness. The human beings, they do to them stuff, and they wreck their life is havoc, and then they يعني their entire psyche it becomes helpless. They perceive and they perceive that whatever they do, nothing is going to occur, including creatures in this house. They say no university, no job, no this and that, and nothing is going to change. My family, my relatives, Muslima, Ismail, Shafi'i, Suad, Nuh, Rashid, Masjid al-Madina, fi akhir. They said they are Allah, and nothing is going to change. Whatever job, university, nothing, and nothing is going to change. You must accept everything evil and the crime is forced upon you. She talks about Hannah Arendt about this in the origins of totalitarianism. In the books of origins of totalitarianism, they talk about اللي هو people who became and the politicians they tricked people and they deceived people after the Second World War, and they didn't do anything to make livelihoods of the people great, and the people are amid two despicable groups of people. One group they perceive that with organizing people, everything is going to occur, and so much can be done. Another group they have become helpless, and they are telling everybody, don't do anything. Nothing is going to occur. Nothing is going to change. Imagine what I am applying for jobs from 2021. Nobody is hiring me. I am applying. Not only that, I go to the two working places and I am telling people to hire me in neighborhood. They come after me there. In neighborhood, they come after me there, and they force their haram. They force their haram and their evil. And she talks about this. She says, never has our future. She's talking about اللي هو Second World War. Politicians deceived the people, and the people became disillusioned and disenchanted with them. Two world wars in one generation, separated by an uninterrupted chain of local wars and revolutions, followed by no peace treaty for vanquished and no respite for the victor, have ended in the anticipation of a third war between the two remaining world powers. This moment of anticipation is like calm that settles after all hopes have died. We no longer hope for an eventual restoration of the old world order with all its traditions. This is something including there is a very great political scientist and philosopher. His name is Antonio Gramsci. They imprisoned him, and during he developed a theory in jail. And he said, she's talking about in old world. Antonio Gramsci. His name is Antonio Gramsci. He's a philosopher Marxist. He is German or something like. He's Italian. During jail, he developed a theory and uh, he said, the old world is dying, and the new and the futurist world has not arrived yet, and we are in the moment of the monasteries and the most evil, and we are in the moment of the most evil. We are in the moment of the monasteries. The old world is dying, and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of the monasteries. Now is the time of the monasteries. This is similar to what Hannah Arendt is discussing. She's saying اللي هو what the people were anticipating has not arrived, and all the previous stuff cease to exist. And she says they are a mere two groups of creatures. Those with, like Martin Seligman and his book Learned Optimism, they have learned helplessness. And the other group, they perceive and they say to themselves, with organizing people, everything, we are capable of everything, and everything is possible, and everything can be done. She says, never has our future been more unpredictable. Never have we depended so much on political forces that cannot be trusted to follow the rules of the common self and self-interest, forces that look like sheer insanity if judged by the standards of other centuries. It is as thought mankind had divided itself between those who believe in human omnipotence, who think that everything is possible if one knows how to organize masses for it, and those for whom powerlessness has become the major experience of their life. This is also something omnipotence. This is something including a book I read, evil. A book is labeled as evil, and it talks about existence and how was evil created, and if Lord, how evil exists, and how and why it is created, and how can it be found, and if Lord Almighty and Allah and God is omnipotent, all loving, all knowing, all present, how can he allow evil creatures to exist and exert their evilness upon those with nothing? Like my family, my relatives, Muslima, Ismail, Shafi'i, Suad, Nuh, Rashid, Masjid al-Madina, Ifi, Akhiran, all creatures are doing to the people. This is something God all knowing, it has omniscience, omnipresent. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. God is all knowing, all loving, and all present. And they are saying, then how can evil exist, and evil creatures who are committing evil horrors and crimes against people they made with nothing? Like my family, my relatives, Muslima, Ismail, Shafi'i, Suad, Nuh, Rashid, Masjid al-Madina, Ifi, Akhira. I memorize everything upon planet Earth. And this book about Viktor Franklin, he discusses اللي هو man's search for meaning, and he talks about اللي هو what occurred, the evil and the crimes that are occurred upon the people, and the people, how many of them and why, and the reason so many of them they did not die, all of them, during the Holocaust, because they said there was a talent they had, loving people in their lives, stuff that they wanted to fulfill and to make. This is This is a man who developed something in psychology labeled as logotherapy. He developed something labeled as logotherapy. Logotherapy. It is developed via Viktor Franklin. Here he is. He developed something labeled in psychology. I bought all these books, including for my psychology and for my universities that I was studying at, and they ruined everything for me. And they are committing crimes against humanity, against me. This is labeled. He developed something labeled as logotherapy. Viktor Franklin. He wrote this book, Man's Search for Meaning, and he talks about it. He developed this theory during the Holocaust, including they are doing their black magic. I developed a theory in psychology. It is inside my mind. They want to steal my stuff. They steal everything I write and I discuss. They said because you, including, are hasida and you do not share everything, including they want my toil. They steal stuff I discuss in my podcast, my research papers, and all they do in my life is beating severely, including I discovered few years ago that eating legumes and canned food, this increases particular enzymes in the body and the brain, and it makes the people more smart and more it increases their brain and the mental faculties. This stuff was stolen from me, and I discovered it in 2021, 2022, 2023. Currently, they are writing research papers about it. This was discovered via me. And they are every now and then prescribing mental illness medication, doing black magic, including the black magic they are doing to steal research I am doing. They said you are an envious person, including and they are saying everywhere. If you want to remember everything you study and read, whatever, and they say so much can be accomplished if people don't want to take credit, for the stuff they discovered. So much can be done, and so much can occur if people don't want to take credit for what they discovered. Here he says, Dr. Franklin, author psychiatrist, sometimes asks his patients who suffer from a multitude of torments, great and small, why did not you commit suicide? From their answers, and they make مسلمة إسماعيل شافعي سعاد نفر رشيد مسجد المدينة إيه في آخره. They make killing black magic. My family and my relatives. مسلمة إسماعيل شافعي سعاد نفر رشيد، دكتور سهير، سميرة، صفية، محمود، محمد، أحمد، محي الدين، حسين. مسلمة إسماعيل شافعي سعاد نفر رشيد مسجد المدينة إيه في آخره. They say they kill ill people, and then they say they committed suicide. They are saying سلام قولا من رب الرحيم. They make black magic of killing. They must be arrested. They make black magic of killing. They are saying سلام قولا من رب الرحيم. This is my relative. They are raped and hanged. My family and my relatives. مسلمة إسماعيل شافعي سعاد نفر رشيد مسجد المدينة إيه في آخره. EU, UK, USA. Muslims, Jews, Christians. They make black magic of killing. سميرة، دكتور سهير، صفية، محمود، محمد، أحمد، محي الدين، حسين، هضن، دقة، أيان، مسلمة إسماعيل شافعي سعاد نفر رشيد مسجد المدينة في آخره. He says sometimes he asks his patients who suffer from multitude of torments, great and small, why do you not commit suicide? From their answers, he can often find the guideline for his psychotherapy. In one's life, there is love for one's children to tie to, another life, a talent to be used, in a third, perhaps only lingering memories worth preserving. To weave these slender threads of broken life into a firm pattern of meaning and responsibility is the object and the challenge of logo. This is what he developed, logotherapy. which is Dr. Franklin's own version of modern existential analysis. They said, including they made me with no job, no university, and I am still doing, I want to have a PhD in psychology. I developed a school of thought in psychology. I want to have a PhD in psychology. Like those great people who are psychiatrists and psychotherapists and XNZ, they ruined everything for me. I want entire planet Earth to rescue me from my family, my relatives. Muslim Ismail Shafiq Said Nahrishin Masjid Medina في آخره. Somaliland, the Somali and the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians with them. To leave me alone with their diseases, their Viagra, they are arousing the people sexually. They don't do to the people anything good. Black magic, mental illness medication is Viagra. Nothing else. This is the only thing they do. Actually, they became 1%, and they're saying to me, they are great people, and I am ruining them. They are searching for sex slaves. Go elsewhere, search for sex slaves for Muslim Ismail Shafiq Said Rashid Masjid Medina في آخره. Leave me alone.